back, up, around. Got it all.
Right about this. We're going that way. And we're going to be shooting this direction, so we need you behind this tree if you don't mind. This
Okay, so all of us.
You're okay.
Oh,
You're okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this tree. That's that tree. We'll go in the sun.
Only had 2 options.
Right face. Left, left. March. One. Hold. Front. Order. Arm. Shoulder. Arm. Quarter, arm. Trail, arm. Quarter, arm. Shoulder, arm. Right shoulder shift, arm. Shoulder, arm. Support, arm. Shoulder, arm. Secure arm. Shoulder arm. Present arm. Shoulder arm. Right about both. You can come right here. We're not going to shoot that drill. Yeah. Welcome. Thanks for coming out. We are a very small group of what we represent the 9th Kentucky U.S. Infantry Volunteers. The 9th Kentucky Volunteers were made up of about 60% Kentuckians and 40% Tennesseans. When the state of Tennessee seceded, men of the north central counties like Jackson, Macon County, Smith County, they were used to going into Kentucky anyway quite a bit because it's right across the border, so they just simply moved into Kentucky if they wanted to stay out of the Confederacy. They joined up with little local, like home guard militias around Tompkinsville, Kentucky, and Bowling Green, and then moved into camps of instruction. They get bigger and bigger camps of instructions. Eventually they end up at Camp Boyle in Columbia, Kentucky, Adair County. That's what we would call boot camp today. This when these guys who are farmers, who have been shooting, squirrel rifles and shotguns their whole lives for hunting purposes, are now going to be taught how to use military weapons in a military setting, while being shot at, while being on the march, while standing shoulder to shoulder and front to right, and back ranks. Yeah. We don't have enough to do a front and back rank today. Tongue is really upside down. But you can imagine there'd be a man 18 inches behind these men, like this, and they're going to be shooting over the shoulder of the man in front, and they have to stand there while being shot at, load the gun, get the gun to fire, and listen to commands. They're also individualists. These guys are farmers. They've plowed fields their whole life. They've not been told what to do when they don't want to do it with discipline. So now you've got to have officers instruct these men how to be soldiers and obey without question. So they're going to go through things that we just went through called the Manual of Arms before they ever shoot the gun. So they learn how to do it the same way every time robotically. Attention company. Shoulder arm. Right shoulder shift arm. Shoulder arm. Quarter arm. Trail arm. Quarter arm. Shoulder arm. Secure arm. Always get one.
Yep.
Shoulder arm. Support arm. Shoulder arm. Arm support. Shoulder arm. Quarter arm. Each of these holds has its own reason it's being done. A lot of times it's just the standard attention, walking, marching. This gets hard on your shoulder, it starts to hurt, so they get it up onto their left side with a different command. If you're running, you go to right shoulder shift. You can run faster this way. So each of the men have to learn these things so that on the march, an officer can shout the command and they all do it exactly the same way. If you get one guy in there doing it wrong, you're going to have guns banging into each other. So they have to learn it to be robotic. It becomes muscle memory so that man will start moving before he's even realized what he's heard. Now that once they've done that, they have to learn how to shoot. There's 9 steps to load and fire the Civil War musket. They have to be done in order every time or it won't work right. So the men are taught loaded 9 times over and over and over until it becomes robotic before they ever get to put powder in the thing and actually start shooting. We're going to have Noah, step up 2 paces. All right. He's going to go through the loaded 9 times, not loading any powder, not loading any bullets. Say, still elevate. Loaded 9 times, load. Handle cartridge. Tear cartridge. Charge cartridge. Draw rammer. Ram cartridge. Return rammer. Prime. At prime, he's actually going to put the gun at half cock and put a percussion cap onto the nipple under the hammer. He comes back to the shoulder, so visually in battle, the officer can look down the line and see he's loaded, ready to go, waiting for the next command. Ready. Aim. Fire. Boom. Recover arms. Shoulder arms. Post. We're going to do this over and over and over and over so these guys forget how to load Daddy Squirrel rifle and start learning how to load an infield musket. Attention company, shoulder arms, right about, face. Load! So in battle, I don't go through loaded 9 times. The officer's just going to yell, load. They're going to go through all the steps robotically up to the primed position and come back to the shoulder so I know visually that they are ready to go. Forward, march. Company, halt. Ready. Aim. March. Load. All right, so that's a volley. You imagine a company of men is 100 men. That's 50 files, front rank, rear rank. You can imagine in the battle, when the regiment comes onto line with 1,000 men, what they're going to do typically is fire a volley into the face of the enemy, trying to convince the enemy that they need to move. The problem is, I'm unloaded. For the next 20 to 25 seconds, I can't do anything to the enemy while we are reloading. You can only get about 3 shots a minute from these muskets, if you're good. So after we fired a volley or 2, we're going to control our rate of fire. Fire by files from the right, midst, fire. You can imagine a company of men, 50 ranks and files. It goes from the right, it's like a wave. Bang, 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 bang. After you fire, you load and fire as fast as you can. So by the time it reaches the far left of the line, the right man should be loaded and he's coming back online and firing. This is what they call the rattle of the musketry when the men wrote about it, or the roar of the musketry. When they talk about the crash of the musketry, that's the volleys that the men are describing. Ceasefire. Okay, now the command ceasefire simply means stop pulling triggers. We don't want to be unloaded, so the men are going to continue loading wherever they are in the sequence and come back to the shoulder so that as soon as I can, I've got loaded muskets ready for the next attack. There's also a lot of smoke you see. Imagine what 100 men are going to create, 1,000-man regiment are going to create. This especially around trees when the wind's not moving, it's going to be a fog of battle. You won't be able to see through there to see what you're shooting at. So every once in a while, we're going to have to stop and look and see if there is an enemy that we're shooting at it still. Company, ready? That's fine. She's okay. Hey! Mark! Recover. Arms. Shoulder. Arms. Right about. Face. Forward. March. Company. Halt. Go. 2 paces forward. Alright, so what you see here is very similar to what the 9th Kentucky would have looked like, and most of your Federals in the Western Theater are going to look like. The light blue trousers tends to be issued mostly to your volunteer forces. The regular Army is wearing dark blue trousers and dark blue tops. So at a glance, a general officer can say, this is a regular Army, these are militia, these are volunteers. On the waist, we have a leather waist belt. On the front left is a bayonet, also known as a candle holder. Front right, we have cap pouch. The cap pouch holds the percussion caps that go under the hammer. It creates the spark that makes the gunpowder go bang. On the right hip is a cartridge box that holds up to 40 cartridges. The musket we're using, everybody's got the Enfield. The 9th Kentucky primarily used Enfield rifled muskets like these. Lethal at a 900 to 1,000 yard range. They're actually not shooting at people at that range typically. They're usually in 200 or 300 yard range. That's just where the battlefields are lined up at typically. On the hats, you see most of the men are wearing a brimmed felt hat, a farmer's hat. The Western Theater guys tend to wear whatever the hat they like. They came into the Army wearing their hat. They were farmers, and that's what they kept. There is the kepis like these guys are having. That's the classic military cap that's issued during the war. There's Western Theater guys that have these. Primarily, they are wearing the felt hats like that. This right here is like a wheel hat or a mechanic's hat, so someone who might be a wheelwright or a millwright would be wearing something like this on a day-to-day basis, and he's going to come into the war with his hat that he likes. Now, on a long march in the hot sun, I might take a bandana, put it on the back of the kepi to get the sun off my neck or my ears, or I might eventually get rid of these things and go to a felt hat. The downside of the felt hats is on a windy day, you chase your hat a lot. Toast. All right, the blouse we have is wool. We have a cotton undershirt. The cotton keeps the wool off your skin. It soaks up your sweat. The wool breeze, so any breeze at all, which there is none right now, goes through here. You can feel your cotton shirt cooling off. It helps to sweat for you. Same with the trousers. We have cotton long johns, go all the way down to the ankle, and wool trousers. The brogans are leather top, leather bottom, leather laces. They're not meant for comfort. Alright, so Jeremy is going to finish us off here. We're going to go back to camp, and you are welcome to come in and ask us questions. Okay? Hope you do. Break ranks up.
How much money do you think we paid these gentlemen to come out here and do this today? Not
Zero.
one.
Yes.
For volunteers.
Free today.
I'm going to tell y'all something. If it were not for the volunteer corps of the National Park Service, we would have been out of business a long time ago. They are the backbone of this operation. I always like to give my thanks to them for doing what they do and explain to y'all that they gave their weekend up to come and help celebrate the 250th anniversary of our great nation. Give them a big round of applause. Y'all are welcome to go into the camp and ask questions. We'll be happy to talk with y'all. Thank you.